Oh, hello there, folks. Good to see everybody again. Welcome to the hospital, such as it is. Welcome to Dave Diggs History, the medical edition. I'm the host of the edition, Dr. Toombs. Good to see everybody once again. Is anyone here to see me in a professional capacity by any? I didn't think so. I'm just cleaning up. Nothing happened today. It's been rather quiet, but it pays to just keep the tools clean, just in case. Anyway, what I'd like to talk with you about today deals with something we've already talked about. If you remember the last episode of the medical edition, we were talking about a company that manufactured internal liniment, and I produced a bottle of same, and the story behind it. I mentioned a little bit about the company, about W.T. Raleigh, and how they manufactured this, that, and the other, including ointments and balms and balsams and this and that, and unguentums. And it dawned on me, what's the difference between all of those? Is there a difference between all of those medications? Are they several names for the same thing? What defines an ointment from, let's say, a salve, for instance? How is it used? What's in it? And I thought that would be a good topic for the next edition of the medical side of Dave Diggs History. So that's what we're going to do today. Talk about that. And I'll just put these away. Now, I like using period sources. I like using primary documentation and sources for the material that's in this episode, which is number 58. 57 was the one where we went over W.T. Raleigh and that bottle of internal liniment. For 58, the sources are going to be Robley Dunglison's Medical Dictionary, 1860 edition, and the United States Dispensatory, 1849 edition. And I found out rapidly I'm not going to be able to do all of this in one episode. There's so much material, as we're about to find out. You may wish to grab something to write with and write on and take notes. And if you're ready, we're going to start. We're going to start with unguentum. What's an unguentum? What's it for? What's in it? Do you really want to know? Well, according to the Medical Dictionary, Dunglison's, it defines unguentum as ointment. Well, I guess that settles the question, are some of these several names for the same thing? Ointments, continuing on, quoting, ointments are topical applications of a consistence more or less analogous to that of lard. They are used chiefly as local applications to ulcers and wounds, but are sometimes rubbed upon a part in cutaneous affections. And especially where it is desired that the constituents should be absorbed, ointments are of less consistency than cerates, although the terms are often used indiscriminately. And as I was looking at this definition in the book, I was looking over the list of unguentums ointments. There were 78 of them listed. We're not going to go through all 78. I'd never make it past, 52? But there are some interesting ones that bear scrutiny, might be of some interest. Unguentum aceti nitrosi, nitric acid-based ointment. What's it good for? It's a stimulant. Wouldn't you be stimulated at the thought of ingesting? And no, unguentums are not to be ingested. They're not internal. Other things are, though. Used in itch and other cutaneous eruptions and in foul ulcers. I've never known any ulcer to be anything but foul. Unguentum aquarosa, also known as cold cream. Made from rose water, wax, and spermaceti, that's whale oil, and its purpose to cool to irritated surfaces. That's a quote. There's another one, unguentum, and I never took Latin in school. It's C-O-N-I'. You can pronounce it any way you want to. And quote, what does that mean? The dictionary, ointment of hemlock, used on irritable tumors and ulcers, end quote. There's also unguentum belladonnae. I bet you can guess what the active ingredient in that is. It's belladonna. And what is it? Quote, an anodyne application to irritable ulcers and etc. I should say. What else? What else do we have here? Unguentum hydrargyri. It's a mercurial ointment. And the definition, quote, mercurial ointment is antisyphilitic and disurterient. I had to look up that word. It expels or has the property to expel morbid matter. If you dilute this, it is employed as a dressing or as an application for cutaneous eruptions. This next one is somewhat related to the previous one, unguentum hydrargyri myatis. It's the same thing as the above, but you add nitric acid to it. Quote, much used as an application to herpes, perigio, that's an eruption of pustules, but without any fever being present. And cutaneous eruptions, end quote. Unguentum iodini, or iodini, used as a local application to goitress, that's related to goiter, and other swellings. Don't worry, we've only got a very few more to go. Let me go on to something else. We have unguentum tabacaceae. It's a tobacco ointment, really. And according to the dispensatory, it's applied to irritable ulcers and tinea capitis, which is a form of perigo, and etc. Other unguentums used as active ingredients, lead, copper, potassium, poppies, black nightshade, related to but not quite as harmful as deadly nightshade, and opium, among others. And to define the word ointment, as opposed to unguentum, which we've already defined in Dunglison's dictionary, it says unguentum. Ointment defined unguentum, quote unquote. And of ointments listed as an ointment, there is an arsenical ointment, with arsenic being the active ingredient. Quote, it is spread on lint and applied to cancerous sores. That's about enough of ointments and unguentums. But then there are also balsams. I'm sure you've heard the word. It's not really a balm, it's a balsam. What's a balsam? Definition, quote, this name is given to natural vegetable substances, concrete or liquid. I think what they meant to say is solid or liquid, but they're using the term concrete because that's how they talked. But very odorous, bitter, and piquant. I had to look that one up too. Piquant, having a pleasantly sharp taste or an appetizing flavor. Now, an example of a balsam is an acoustic balsam. What's an acoustic balsam? It consists of essential oils, sulfur, and tincture of fetid gums. I did not find that one. Used in cases of atonic deafness. Atonic deafness, tone deafness, essentially. And it's used droplets into the ear. What else do we have? We have balsams. Apoplectic balsam. You can guess what that's for. Composed of several balsams. Well, it's a blend. Properly called resins and volatile oils. What do you do with it? Again, back to quotations, is worn in ivory boxes about the person and is smelled at in headaches, and etc. This is one I'd never heard of, the use, the carrion of this medicinal in an ivory box. I wonder what they look like. Might run across one someday, like I ran across that bottle of internal liniment at an antique store. And this sounds very, very good. Balsam of Genevieve. Sounds sweet, doesn't it? What do you think it's comprised of and is used for with a name like Genevieve? And the reference did not give any reason or source for why it is called Genevieve. Quote, an ointment composed of wax, turpentine, oil, red sanders. Red sanders is a coloring agent, and it comes from a tree that grows in the Indian mountains. And camphor. What's it used for? Contused wounds, gangrene, and once again, etc. Other balsams have ingredients such as pine needles, honey, licorice root, dragon's blood. It'd be kind of dangerous going after a dragon to get its blood. But dragon's blood is from the trunks of certain trees in Caribbean islands and in South America. Other balsams have acetate of lead, sulfuric acid, and opium. And there's where we're going to have to call this a day, because it is late and because there's so much else along these lines to have to go through. This was a rabbit hole. I did not know how deep it was or how many side chambers there were until I went there. This is going to take quite a bit of time and several episodes in the future, I know, but sharpen your pencils, dip your quill pens or your more modern nibbed pens. Get them handy because you may wish to take notes in the future. And with that, I'm going to call it a night because it is night. It's 5 minutes after 10 of the clock at night. Nothing much has happened, and I hope nothing much will happen, so I think I'll turn in. Thank you very much for coming. I'm glad you're here. If this is your first time here, welcome. Hope it is not your last time. If you have any questions you want to ask, or comments, or criticism, constructive only, of course, be sure and leave them below, and I will do my best to find an answer. If I don't find an answer, I'll make something up. That's what real doctors do, or so we sometimes think. Once again, thank you, and until the next time we meet, I have the honor to be your most respectful and obedient servant, Dr. Toombs, coming to you like that other fellow, the major part of this channel, coming to you from a long time ago. Good night to all of you. Thank you very much for coming. Stay safe.